Hello and welcome to a reading and analysis of William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 2, Scene 2. So where we left off, there were kind of two things that Oberon had told Puck to do. Or at least he said what he was going to do and then told Puck what to do. So Oberon is going to find Titania and put the love juice from the flower in her eyes so she falls in love with some ridiculous creature. And Puck has been commanded to find the Athenian man who is ignoring the advances of the Athenian woman in the woods and to put the love juice in his eyes so that he falls in love with her. And that's where we're going to start off with 2-2. If I can find the right page. All right. So we start off with Titania talking to her fairies that follow her. Come, now a roundel and a fairy song. Then, for the third part of a minute, hence, some to kill cankers and musk-rose buds, some war with rear mice for their leathern wings to make my small elves coats, and some keep back the clamorous owl that nightly hoots and wanders at our quaint spirits. Sing me now asleep, then to your offices, and let me rest. So Titania has given out her orders, and it tells us a little bit about the fairies in this play, because they're going to go fight, I think rear mice are bats. Yeah, they are, with their leathern wings. So they're going to go fight bats and chase off owls and fight against cankers, which are worms and like vegetation and stuff. So they have the like gardening and pest control assignments, but they're going to use the bats of wings. No, they're going to use the wings of bats to make coats. So it lets us know that the fairies are quite small. And then they're going to leave her be so that she can sleep. Then we get some music here. The fairies sing a song. The first fairy says, "You spotted snakes with double tongue, thorny hedgehogs be not seen. Newts and blind worms do no wrong. Come not near our fairy queen." So that is talking about animals again. Newts and blind worms are like salamanders and these things that are supposed to stay away from her, right? It does have a little bit of a double toil and trouble sound to it with the different animals and ingredients. But here it is a charm of protection for Titania, not something sinister like the witches. Then we get the chorus, Philomel. So Philomel is a nightingale named after a very unfortunate story in mythology. Philomel with melody, sing in our sweet lullaby. Lulla, lulla, lullaby, lulla, lulla, lullaby. Never harm, nor spell, nor charm, come our lovely lady nigh. So good night with lullaby. Weaving spiders come not here. Hence, you long-legged spinners, hence. Beetles black, approach not near. Worm nor snail do no offense. Philomel with melody, sing in our sweet lullaby. Lulla, lulla, lullaby, lulla, lulla, lullaby. Never harm, nor spell, nor charm, come our lovely lady nigh. So good night with lullaby. So that's the end of the song. Titania goes to sleep. And the fairy gives an order. It says, "Hence away, now all is well. One aloof stands sentinel." So we have one fairy that is guarding Titania. But Oberon is able to sneak past this fairy, and you can do some fun stuff on stage for how that happens. Because Oberon gets to Titania and says, "What thou seest when thou dost wake, do it for thy true love take." So that's putting the love juice in her eyes, right? "Love and languish for his sake, be it ounce," which is a lynx, yeah. "Be it ounce or cat or bear, pard," which would be a leopard, yep, "or boar with bristled hair, in thy eye that shall appear, when thou wakest, it is thy dear. Wake when some vile thing is near." So fall in love with some random creature to create comedy and inconvenience for you. So Oberon now leaves. He does not, it's very important, Oberon does not see the two characters who are about to enter. Titania is still asleep somewhere, probably upstage, somewhere on the stage. And all of a sudden, our other couple, who you almost forget about that they're also in the woods because it's been a while, but our original couple, well, the other ones aren't a couple, really, are they? But our one true couple at this point, Lysander and Hermia, enter the scene. So Lysander says, "Fair love, you faint with wandering in the wood, and to speak troth, I have forgot our way. will rest us, Hermia, if you think it good, and tarry for the comfort of the day. So a little bit of funny stuff, right? Lysander tells Hermia they have to stop because she's tired, not him. And he's also gotten lost. So puts that in there. Be it so, Lysander, find you out of bed, for I upon this bank will rest my head. So they're going to sleep in two separate spots, according to Hermia, but Lysander says one turf, meaning a bed here, one turf shall serve as pillow for us both. I guess turf here meant pillow, right? Something to lay your head on. One turf shall serve as pillow for us both, one heart, one bed, two bosoms, and one troth. So troth would be the bed there. So he's saying they should sleep next to each other. And Hermia says, nay, good Lysander, for my sake, my dear, lie further off yet. Do not lie so near. So we get some funny things with Lysander's name, as well as like lying further off, that little pun there. Oh, take the sense, sweet of my innocence. So, oh, I'm being completely innocent. Love takes the meaning love's conference. I mean that my heart unto yours is knit, so that but one heart we make of it. Two bosoms interchanged with an oath, so then two bosoms and a single troth. Then by your side no bedroom me deny, for lying so, Hermia, I do not lie. So now we have another pun, right? Lysander lying, Lysander not telling the truth lying. And Hermia says, Lysander riddles very prettily. Now much beshrew my manners and my pride if Hermia meant to say Lysander lied. But, gentle friend, for love and courtesy lie further off in human modesty. Such separation, as may well be said, becomes a virtuous bachelor and a maid. So far be distant, and good night, sweet friend. Thy love ne'er alter till thy sweet life end. So, despite Lysander's attempts to speak very prettily, Hermia says, no, we are not married yet. We are a bachelor and a maid, so we are going to lie farther off. I know that you love me, but we're going to lie farther off. And Lysander, probably rather begrudgingly in most productions, says, amen, amen to that fair prayer, say I, and then end life when I end loyalty. Here is my bed, sleep give thee all his rest. With half that wish the wisher's eyes be pressed. And they fall asleep. Really important, and this is one of those things that it's so much easier to see a production than just read it on the page. But really important that you catch that Hermia is over here, Lysander's all the way over here. Let's actually go like that. Yeah, they're far apart. I realize that looks really close to each other on the screen, right? They're far apart on the stage because that is something Puck is going to pick up when he enters here in a little bit. But we also get some interesting themes here. We get the comedy of the like hormonal teenage boy, I guess. But we also get themes of loyalty, that Lysander swears, like, end my life when I end loyalty. We get themes of chastity and modesty, which is very important in a lot of Shakespeare plays, and how women are viewed, and the major themes that appear. And we also see an interesting example of a couple who are breaking some rules but following others, that they are not obeying her father, Aegeus, right? They are not obeying Athenian law. They're running off into the woods together, but they are, at least Hermia is still holding to these morals that she has, or acts of decorum, to say not until they are married will they lie next to each other. So it tells us a lot about the characters, that little exchange there. But important to remember, they are lying far apart. And then Puck enters and says, through the forest have I gone, but Athenian found I none on whose eyes I might approve this flower's force and stirring love. So Puck is frustrated because he has gone through the whole forest and not found any Athenians. But then he sees Lysander lying on the ground. Night and silence. Who is here? Weeds of Athens he doth wear. This is he, my master said, despised the Athenian maid. And here the maiden, sleeping sound on the dank and dirty ground. Oh, pretty soul, she durst not lie near this lack love, this kill courtesy. So what Puck interprets by seeing these two lying far apart, because, right, he's an Athenian man, which is who he's supposed to find in the woods. How many Athenian men are in the woods? The audience knows there's two, but we'll say the mechanicals aren't there yet. The audience knows there's two at this point, but Puck only thinks there's one. Oberon only thinks there's one. So Puck believes that Lysander is who he was sent out to find. And his proof is that they are lying far apart from each other. So they must not actually be in love. He is spurring her advances, as Puck was told. So then we see the line, churl upon thy eyes, I throw all the power this charm doth owe. So that is anointing Lysander's eyelids with the love juice flower. When thou wakest, let love forbid, sleep his seat on thy eyelid. So awake when I am gone, for I must now to Oberon. And Puck runs off. Now, right as Puck runs off, Helena and Demetrius enter the scene, and they do not see the two Athenians asleep. They do not see their friends, Hermia and Lysander, asleep. So staging-wise, again, easier to follow this watching it than reading it. But staging-wise, it gives you a challenge because you have so many people coming on and off of the stage, and they can't necessarily see each other. So it helps that these two characters are far apart. So you get the middle of the stage available for Helena and Demetrius. So Helena says, stay, though thou kill me, sweet Demetrius. I charge thee hence, and do not haunt me thus. Wilt thou darkling leave me? Do not so. Stay on thy peril, I alone must go. So Demetrius runs off, and Helena is alone on stage, or she thinks she's alone on stage. She says to the audience, oh, I am out of breath in this fond chase. The more my prayer, the lesser is my grace. So, right, the more she prays for Demetrius, the lesser she has grace, right? She's not getting what she wants. She's not getting reward or favor for her prayers. And she's also probably feeling more and more foolish as this goes on. Happy is Hermia, wherever so she lies, for she hath blessed and attractive eyes. How came her eyes so bright? Not with salt tears. If so, my eyes are oftener washed than hers. No, no, I am as ugly as a bear, for beasts that meet me run away for fear. Therefore no marvel though Demetrius do as a monster fly my presence thus. What wicked and dissembling glass of mine made me compare with Hermia's sphery eyne? So funny line, because she's like happy as Hermia wherever she's lying, and her, of course, Hermia's like right there, just a little bit off to the side or below the stage or something. And she's also bitter that she has to be compared to Hermia. Why are Hermia's eyes so beautiful? Well, it's not salt tears, because Helena's eyes have a lot more salt tears than hers do. But then she sees Lysander. She says, but who is here? Lysander on the ground, dead or asleep? I see no blood, no wound. Lysander, if you live, good sir, awake. So Lysander wakes up, and of course he has the love juice in his eyes. So when he wakes up, he immediately falls in love with Helena. And you'll notice in the rhymes here, this is a lot of couplets, A Midsummer Night's Dream, one of the challenges of acting it. Lysander, if you live, good sir, awake, and run through fire, I will for thy sweet sake, right? He finishes the couplet, almost like finishing someone's sentence, which is still like a joke of like being so close with someone or in love with someone that you finish each other's sandwiches or sentences or however you're playing the joke. But here you see it finishing the rhyme, the couplet. And run through fire I will for thy sweet sake. Oh, transparent Helena. So Helena is transparent, apparently, which I think is because being pale was seen as attractive back then for a lot of reasons, many of which are terrible. But she's so pale that you can see right through her. And because you can see through her, nature shows art, right? So nature shows Helena's transparency, like nature, like the way she is made reflects her beauty, like inward and outward beauty match. That through thy bosom makes me see thy heart. So like he can see through her and see her heart and see her true feelings. So this is just like an extreme expression of beauty that Lysander sees in Helena. And Helena is, of course, caught off guard and wondering, like, what is this guy talking about, waking up and saying these things to me? But then he says, where is Demetrius? Oh, how fit a word is that vile name to perish on my sword. So he's like, I'm going to go kill Demetrius. Do not say so, Lysander. Say not so. What, though he loves your Hermia? Lord, what though? Yet Hermia still loves you. Then be content. So that's what Helena picks up on, is the killing Demetrius, who she loves. So she wants to protect him, and she says, no, no, do not do that, right? Why would you even do that? Hermia loves you, not him. So be content that she loves you. Content with Hermia? No, I do repent the tedious minutes I have with her spent. Not Hermia, but Helena I love, who will not change a raven for a dove. So that metaphor there is that Hermia is a raven, considered an ugly bird, apparently, but Helena is a dove, considered a beautiful bird, apparently. So why would I be content with Hermia when I have you here? The will of man is by his reason swayed, and reason says you are the worthier made. Things growing are not ripe until their season. So I, being young till now, ripe not to reason. And touching now the point of human skill, reason becomes the marshal to my will, and leads me to your eyes, where I o'erlooked love's stories written in love's richest book. So this expression here is like, I've grown up and I now understand true beauty, right? Your beauty is ripened before me. It's like, forget whatever I said before. Now I am actually in love, and it's with you, not with Hermia. And then Helena says, wherefore was I to this keen mockery born? When at your hands did I deserve this scorn? Is it not enough, young man, that I did never, no, nor never can deserve a sweet look from Demetrius's eye, but you must flout my insufficiency. So you'll see that Helena interprets this expression of love as Lysander messing with her, that Lysander is mocking her. She's like, is my life not bad enough that I have to put up with Demetrius not loving me, and now you are mocking me by pretending to be in love with me? Good troth, you do me wrong, good sooth you do, in such disdainful manner me to woo. But fare you well. Perforce, I must confess, I thought you lord of more true gentleness. Oh, that a lady of one man refused should by another therefore be abused. So Helena leaves, right? And she says, I thought you were a better guy than this, to mock me. Like, you already have someone who loves you and you love them. Why are you wasting your time, mocking me to just make me feel terrible? And she exits. Lysander is not at all persuaded by Helena's rejection of what he said. This flower makes people fall so in love that there is no rational part of their brain. The embarrassment part of confessing your feelings for someone is completely turned off by this flower. So there's no filter on anything you say or any of the looks that you give or anything like that, which is why these are such fun parts for actors to play, because it's just extreme big comedy. And this isn't even close to where we are going to go with this flowers meddling in Act 3. So Lysander, after Helena leaves, says, she sees not Hermia. So then he goes to Hermia and says, still awake, right? Or I'm sorry, still asleep, Hermia, still asleep. Hermia, sleep thou there, and never mayest thou come Lysander near. For as a surfeit of the sweetest things the deepest loathing to the stomach brings, or as the heresies that men do leave are hated most of those they did deceive. So thou, my surfeit and my heresy, of all be hated, but the most of me, and all my powers address your love and might to honor Helen and to be her knight. And he exits. So you'll see that he says to Hermia while she's sleeping, sleep there and never come near me again. And then he calls her his stomach bug, his disgusted nausea, and his heresy. So, pretty bad things. They burn people for heresy back then. And he says, I now, those feelings I had for you are now totally toward Helena. And he actually says Helen, which is really interesting, because Helen would be a shortened version of Helena, and it can be helpful with the meter to have a name like that can switch. But also, this is a Athenians, right? And an audience would be very familiar with mythology, and Helen is, of course, in Greek mythology, the face that launched 1,000 ships, 10,000 ships, many ships, and the start of the Trojan War as Paris runs off with her from her husband Menelaus. So we get this theme of beauty, even though Helena doesn't think she's beautiful. She's name-wise connected with the most beautiful woman in antiquity. We get this theme of beauty causing disaster, warfare, jealousy, violence. And we'll see that play out in the next act. But either way, Lysander runs off, and then Hermia wakes up right after he leaves, alone on stage, and she says, "Help me, Lysander, help me. Do thy best to pluck this crawling serpent from my breast." So she has a bad dream. She thinks a snake is like on her. "Ay me, for pity, oh, what a dream was here. Lysander, look how I do quake with fear. Oh, methought a serpent ate my heart away, and you sat smiling at his cruel prey." And so she's talking to Lysander and all of that. And this is the really sad part, because she notices Lysander's not there. "Lysander? What, removed? Lysander, lord? What, out of hearing? Gone? No sound, no word. Alack, where are you? Speak, and if you hear, speak of all loves. Oh, I swoon almost with fear. No? Then I well perceive you are not nigh. Either death or you I'll find immediately." And she exits. So one of the things we can pick up on is, I think that's pretty self-explanatory, right? She has a bad dream. She looks for Lysander. He's not there. She calls for him and then realizes something's happened and she has to go find him. But the end of Act 2, we're left with this suspense, right? Either you or death I'll find. Yeah, either death or you, actually. Either death or you I'll find immediately. And when Demetrius runs away from Helen, right, the threat is that the wild beast will get her, or she'll get lost or something like that. And Lysander and Hermia enter the scene exhausted and lost. And if we think back to the forgeries of jealousy, we know that the woods are already a dangerous place, and they're all messed up season-wise, and the paths are messed up, and the rivers are overflowing. So, and food isn't growing like it should. So this is a dangerous place. And oftentimes when you see a production of A Midsummer Night's Dream, the stage is beautiful. And when I've been involved in productions, I try and make the stage beautiful. But there should be a bit of terror on that stage as well. The woods are terrifying. Hermia and Lysander flee Athens to try and save their love and Hermia's life. But they are trading that danger for another one. Now, that's definitely a subtext. The bigger thing happening here is the comedy of the misunderstanding of Puck putting the flower in the wrong person's eyes. And if this scene is done well, actually, if this whole play is done well, the audience should be laughing hysterically quite often, which is hard to get on a reading, just one person reading it, or reading it on your own, or reading it in class with people who aren't familiar with it or is practiced reading it. But give the play some time, see a production of it. It's very, very funny and very quick paced, which I hope you're seeing a little bit of in this reading here. So anyway, that is the end of Act 2. We're already at Act 3, longer scenes in A Midsummer's, but not very many of them actually. So we'll get to Act 3 very shortly here. And speaking of creatures in the woods, if you're interested in field notes, the edition I'm showing off today is the Birds of North America, which are these awesome watercolors from a famous watercolorist from like 1915. And these particular editions have very cool like wraparound front and back art. They are lined, very high quality paper, and like all field notes, they have some really interesting information in the back, which might pick up on camera. I should hide my face. You can kind of see on the back, so some very interesting information about each bird that's printed on each cover, as well as a ruler and information about the stock and dimensions used to create the notebook. So if you're interested in those, there's a link in the description to go to fieldnotes.com, and you can use the code in the description to get 10% off your first order. Helps out the channel and saves you a little bit of money. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in Act 3. Happy reading.